Lesson 5, calculating percentage error. Often when we're completing a lab, we'd like to know the accuracy or the validity of our results. How close are we to the quote-unquote right answer? If we have a known value to compare our lab results to, if we know what we were supposed to get, we can find out our absolute error and our percentage error. The absolute error is just how far you're off. It's your theoretical value or your calculated value or your measured value minus the correct answer. So if I know I was supposed to get 12 and I got 14, what's my absolute error? 2. If I know I was supposed to get 12 and I got 10, what's my absolute error? Still 2. We don't say that it's negative. We say that the answer is always positive. So that's why I have those things. Did you learn? You might have missed this last year because of COVID. Does anybody know what those vertical bars mean? What we call them? It's the absolute value. What's the absolute value of 5? What's the absolute value of -5? Really, by the way, what the absolute value symbol is saying, how far are you from the 0? And how far is a distance? You don't say I'm -5 away, I'm 5 away. Okay? So I put absolute value signs around this, but honestly, what I almost always do if I'm finding the absolute error, I just go bigger minus smaller. So if I got 10 and I was supposed to get 12, I wouldn't go 10, take away 12, -2, lose the -2. I would just go 12, take away 10, it's 2. The known or accepted value is often the correct value, the one you were supposed to get. Note, the absolute value means make your answer positive even if it's negative. In other words, just go bigger minus smaller. You do, if you've listened to me and you've got a good calculator, you do actually have an absolute value function somewhere. Probably it's listed as the words ABS. Or it might actually show you that. It's almost certainly a second function button, or it might even be in a sub-menu somewhere on the graphing calculator. Marcus, I know it's in a sub-menu somewhere, but most of us can do absolute value in our heads. Oh, if I got a negative, just ignore it. And so most of the time, I don't even bother trying to find where that is on my calculator. Lena, I just do it. What about the percentage error? The percentage error is your absolute error divided by the correct value times 100. So if I knew I was supposed to get 12, but I got 14, what's my absolute error? 2. My percentage error would be 2 divided by 12 times 100 to make it a percent. And that would tell me what percent I was off by. Example 1, a police officer uses a radar gun to clock a passing Ferrari at 211 kilometers per hour, pretty fast. According to GPS, the Ferrari was really speeding at 199 kilometers per hour. It says, calculate the error in the officer's measurement. What's the theoretical value? The theoretical value we'll say is the radar gun. We'll call that 211. The correct value according to the GPS is 199. So what's the absolute error? In our notes, let's write out what we did in your homework. You can skip writing this out, but so that when we're studying, we know. We went 211 minus 199. Technically, we took the absolute value, but whatever. And it is 12, yes? Yeah. Units, kilometers per hour. What's the percentage error? Well, my abbrev for percentage error is a percent sign and then ERR. That's going to be the absolute error divided by the correct value. Which one did this say was the actual correct value? I think the GPS of 199. And then times 100 to turn it into a percent. This is sort of the same math you do when you ask, what percent did I get on a test? You take your score divided by what you should have got, perfect, times 100%. What do you get? Of course, you've all tried this on your calculator instead of just sitting passively waiting for me to do things, not mentioning any names. You get 12.12 repeating? Yeah. I missed the 1. I made a typo. So we need to pause for a second. That did seem a little high to me, so let's go again. 199. Oh. 199 times 100. Do you get 6.03? Is that better? Woohoo! Percent. Percentage error is nice, turn the page, because it allows us to compare different instruments, different devices. Two people, Connor and Sheila, measure their weight in the morning by using typical bathroom scales. Typical bathroom scales are the old style ones that have a spring in them, and they are notoriously unreliable. The digital ones are a little better, but the old school ones are terrible. The scale reports that Connor weighs 237 pounds, although he actually weighs 256 pounds. Sheila's scale reports her weight as 117 pounds, although she actually weighs 129 pounds. A says, whose measurement incurred the greater absolute error? I think I'm going to do 3 things here, Taryn. I'm going to find the absolute error for Connor. I'm going to find the absolute error for, and then I'm going to say which one's bigger. How many things am I going to do? I'll divide my column into 3. I want to be organized but lazy. What would a good abbrev for Connor be? What would a good abbrev for Sheila be? And if you did that, I would figure it out. I'm clever enough to figure that out. All right, let's find Connor's absolute error. It's going to be, although the theoretical value is 237, the correct answer is 256. Rather than go 237 minus 256, since I know I want a positive answer, I'm going to go 256 minus 237. I can do that in my head. It's going to be 19. Double check me. Is it 19? Yes? Sheila, I'm going to go 129, take away 117. 12? Does this mean that Connor, yeah. Oh, why did I put kilograms? Because I'm metric. Pounds. What's the abbrev for pounds? Why LBS? What the heck? There's no L or B in the word pound. It's from a Latin phrase, and you can use that, but there is another symbol that has started to be the abbrev for pounds, because until Twitter came along, you had something on your phone that we called the pound key. Now you call it the hashtag key, but this is also an accepted abbrev for pounds. And since it's less writing than LBS, I'm going to use it. I think I told you I'm going to be abbreviating this year. Yes, I hope I did. Connor's was 19, Sheila's was 12. Does that mean Connor's scale is less accurate than Sheila's? I don't know. First of all, Connor had the bigger error. There, we answered the question. B says, who's incurred a larger percentage error? I think, again, I'm going to find, Keegan, 3 things. Connor's percentage, Sheila's percentage, and then I'll answer the question, which one's larger? So again, I'm going to do the old divide my page in 3. There's Connor. There's Sheila. How will I find the percentage error for Connor? What divided by what times what? I'll give you a hint. It's going to be 19 divided by something. What do I divide by? Yeah, Marcus. The correct value. Is the correct value 256? And then times 100 to convert it into a percentage. Connor's scale was off by 7.4%. Oh, by the way, technically, 19, how many sig figs? 256, how many sig figs? 3. 100% is considered a conversion. We don't count that. Technically, I should go to 2 sig figs. So I'll go 7.4%. What about Sheila? Well, Sheila is going to be 12 divided by what? 129 is the correct one? Times 100. Again, technically, I should go to 2 sig figs in my answer. I get 9.3. So even though Connor's scale had a larger absolute error, which scale is actually less accurate? Which scale had a bigger percentage error? Sheila. Mr. Duick estimates that it will cost him $7,650 to rebuild his porch, but the actual cost ends up being $9,800. This must be a government project because it went over budget. Calculate the absolute error. How will I figure out the absolute error here? Gershine, loud and proud. What? I can do that in my head. It's going to be 9,800 take away 7,000 is 1,800 take away 600 is going to be 1,250, 1,150. 2,150. I'm off by 1,000. 2,150. Duick. Forgot to carry a 1. Silly. Calculate the percentage error. Okay. It's going to be 2,150 divided by which is the correct value? 9,800 times 100%. $21.9. Technically should go to 2 sig figs because of the 9,800. That's to 2 sig figs, but I'll go to 3%. Government projects, their initial estimate of how much it'll cost, and then the final how much it costs, they're usually off by 200% or 300%. Government projects notoriously come in way over budget. They just always do. And since it's your money, once you start paying taxes, that can make you a little bit grumpy. But just seems to be the system that we have. Was there any homework attached to this lesson? So this is not one you need to hand in, but we're going to be doing an activity in just a second. Let me hit stop.